Can Jack Hughes please shut the puck up? I mean, damn, he's the one saying Quinn Hughes isn't the one making all the noise, and all he wants to do is focus, and here you are, being a little brother and speaking your mind. All right, you're really putting the devil in New Jersey. Let's talk about that and give you one trade scenario that could bring Jack Hughes to Vancouver. What? Plus, we'll give you 3 reasons why Evander Kane is the perfect Canuck.
The following is a hockey podcast out of Vancouver and Surrey, British Columbia. It'll only consist of a lot of puck talk and even more BS, or in actual words, banter and satire. Enjoy, and as always, go Canucks go.
You're Locked On Canucks, your daily podcast on the Vancouver Canucks. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, welcome to another episode of Locked On Canucks. My name is Trevor Beggs, co-host of Locked On Canucks and also a Canucks reporter for Daily Hive Vancouver. And the reports today, man, oh man, they seem a little bit doomsday-ish for Vancouver Canucks fans. So let's kick off the episode talking about Jack Hughes and his comments on Quinn Hughes. Jack got real raw and honest with Pierre LeBrun and the media down in Las Vegas about his thoughts on playing with Quinn Hughes. As you heard in the intro, we'll also touch on Evander Kane, why he is the perfect fit. I'm warming up to this guy, man. You know, if you listen back in late June, I was ripping the trade. And again, as time's gone on, it's September, baby. I'm feeling good. I'm warming up to Evander Kane. We'll also touch on trade scenarios as well, and perhaps prospects who could crack the Canucks out of camp as they announce their camp lineup today. But let's kick it off with the Jack Hughes comments. And Kyle, when you read that this morning, were you thinking the same thing as I am? He's biting his tongue not to say, let's go to Vancouver together, baby.
Man, oh man, when I heard what Jack Hughes said, I was a little pissed off. I was also, open to the idea that, this may happen. It's inevitable. I started looking at the New Jersey Devil prospect pool like I did a couple months ago. Like, there's so much riding on this season, right? But going back to, being pissed off, if I'm Quinn Hughes, I'm pissed off. I'm pissed off. Like, I've had enough. Like, Quinn Hughes, he's stoic. He's only focused on the game of hockey. Now he has his president talking shit about him wanting to go to the Devils. Now his brother's like, oh, I'd love to play with Quinn. And oh yeah, it's not Quinn talking about this. It's the president. It's the media. It's all the people in Vancouver. But I'm going to talk about it too. Like enough is enough. And a part of me feels like, and Trevor, again, you're going to be there very soon, and I hope that Quinn Hughes doesn't cross-check you in the face. And I hope maybe you're going to ask the question. Who knows? Who knows? Because you're a big J journo now, right? But man, oh man, something tells me that he's going to tell everyone, whenever the training camp opens next week, that y'all got to shut the puck up and not talk about this. And I hope we all listen to the captain.
Well, speaking of the captain, we should hear from the captain in pretty short order here, right? Because Quinn Hughes is also down in Las Vegas alongside Jack for this NHL media tour. So at some point, whether it's later today, whether it's tomorrow, we should hear from Quinn Hughes because goddamn, he's going to be asked about this from the comments from Jack. And look, Kyle, you know this as well as I do. Siblings can be very different, even though the Hughes brothers are all close and they spend their summers together in Michigan. They're seen, frolicking with friends and going to the U.S. Open and all this stuff. They have different personalities, right? And you can see the different personalities between Quinn and Jack. Like you said, Quinn doesn't smile much, very stoic. When he was asked about his, contract situation by Ian McIntyre just a couple days ago, he chose the high road, right? He was honest in the sense that he hasn't made up his mind, but he wasn't really pouring gasoline on the fire like Jack Hughes just did today. And for those who missed, I think everyone's seen it by now, but really the quote from Jack Hughes was when he was asked about playing with his brother Quinn. He said, honestly, I'm not afraid to say it. Yeah, I would love for Quinn to ... Eventually, I love to play with him. And whether it's in New Jersey, at what time that takes, at some point, I want to play with Quinn. But yeah, the question's going around. They talk about it up in Vancouver, but I love to play with Quinn at some point. And it did really sound like he was biting his tongue not to say New Jersey. But hey, man, there's Canuck optimists out there that are saying, you know what, maybe he's thinking Vancouver, man. I mean, look, if you're on YouTube, you remember this photo from 2018, man. Jack Hughes rocking the Canucks hat after Quinn Hughes was drafted, saying Canucks, baby, posting that to his Instagram. And look, yeah, A lot has changed in 7 years. A lot can still change over the next year or two as well. And Kyle, we talked about it all summer long. Every Dares know next season matters so much. And I feel like you say that every year, but when you're talking about the best player in franchise history potentially leaving, performance on the ice really matters. And, looking at Stanley Cup odds right now, New Jersey is somewhere in that, like, with the 8th best odds to win the Stanley Cup. Vancouver somewhere around 19th, right? So there's definitely a gap there, but a lot of things can change. People are writing off Vancouver heading into 23, 24, and they surprise people. Actually, I also read an article today about the Vancouver Canucks being a sleeper Stanley Cup pick, more so just because the odds are really good on them on betting platforms. So a lot of things can happen. But yeah, I mean, Jack Hughes pouring gasoline on the fire today. Didn't initially feel good as a Canucks fan, but hey, we're still at the point of the season where a lot of things can happen. Hey, Luke Hughes isn't even signed yet, okay? That's a whole other wrinkle in the situation.
Yep. Look, Trevor, I mean, we've beaten this drum so many times that I think it's important for you and I just to, like, evaluate new things when it comes to this conversation. And one thing that we don't hone in a lot on is the fact that, like, New Jersey's, yeah, they have the odds in their favor. And, even if you look at on paper, like, their decor is pretty strong too. Like, they just have a good team. They just have a good team, right? But they got to pull through, right? They got to execute. Like you said, Quinn wants to play on a legitimate team. And on that note, I mean, Jack Hughes did allude to, like, kind of not knowing if it's going to be in New Jersey too. So the more and more we hear rumors about Luke Hughes, and I think Jack Hughes also touched on Luke potentially signing a 5-year deal too, like, saying that it shouldn't be a big deal. I feel as if all three of these brothers, because again, the Devils aren't the Florida Panthers, right? They know that. Quinn knows that as well. Like, it can't be, and it's New Jersey. It's not like prime real estate. It's not prime destination, right? For real. I feel as if with all the contract talk around Luke and Quinn, and now Jack saying this, I feel as if Quinn is going to sign an extension at the end of this year. Because again, hockey nerd, he wants to fulfill the Canadian legacy. I know he's an American, but he wants to, like, give it a shot. Bring a Stanley Cup to Canada. Be that G. Like, that's a crazy thing to put on your hockey resume. It really is at this point, American, Canadian or not. Being the captain of a team and being one of the best players in hockey, and to do so in a division where Connor McDavid plays in, like, I feel as if Quinn Hughes potentially wants to, like, follow through on that prophecy. And, he was just named captain when, Trevor? A couple seasons ago, right? A part of me feels like he owes the city at least 5 years of being the captain of this club. You get what I'm saying? So I feel as if at the end of this season, he, like Luke Hughes will do this year, they'll sign extensions that match Jack's current length of contract, and they'll all go to UFA together. And whenever that is in 2030 or whatever. And a lot of people aren't talking about this, and there's a lot of irony in this. But I wonder because it would be expensive to bring all three Hughes brothers to one team. But man, oh man, Detroit sucks. Detroit might suck for a while. And if there's one team that probably will have salary cap around that time, it might be the Red Wings. And you want to talk about prophecy, legacy, and all that jazz? Michigan, bro, I could see something like that happen. Or Florida, if it's not New Jersey or Vancouver.
Yeah, it's not going to be Toronto. You see a lot of Leafs fans posting today. There's the photo out there of all three brothers decked out in Leafs gear at an outdoor game, years back when they were kids. It's not going to be Toronto. It can't be Toronto. Can it be Vancouver, though, Kyle? I mean, you teased it in the intro, potential trade for Jack Hughes. I mean, what does that even look like if you're the Vancouver Canucks?
I got it. Okay, think about this, Trevor. I'm hockey nerding out. And Elias Pettersson again taking a deep breath before he talks in front of the Vancouver media yesterday. And, I want to take back some of my ridicule. I rewatched the film about 8 times yesterday. Yes, his little interview yesterday. Watched it 8 times. I was hard on him, hard on his body language. But you know what? It's typical Elias Pettersson. It is what it is. Somebody wrote in the comments, and it hit me right in the dome, right? If he was smiling a lot, there would be some people criticizing him smiling. Not me, but there'd be some people, and I was, waiting for more smiles. I didn't get that. Boom, bam. I did watch the film again, and I'm calming down. I'm not going to look too much in the body language. Let's just hope for a good season. Let's say Elias Pettersson does have a good season, a great season. Let's say he bounces back. Let's say in the Olympics he plays with Jesper Bratt. Let's say those two have unreal chemistry. Let's say those two win a gold medal for Sweden. Okay, then you fast forward to the rest of the regular season. Jack struggles in the playoffs again for the Devils, or struggles, I don't want to say again, but in big game situations. You saw what he did for Team USA last year at the World Cup Extravaganza Four Nations Trophy Championship. He sucked, right? Let's say New Jersey gets bounced out early. Jack is, you know, being talked about as too small to win. Or more specifically, do the Devils really want to have Jesper Bratt and Jack Hughes at the top of their lineup? Do they need two of the same guys? Right? They get where I'm going with this? And oh yeah, Pettersson bounces back, does his thing. The Canucks have some success, win around, I don't know, push Edmonton to Game 7 again in round 2. But at the end of the day, Elias Pettersson just has enough of the Vancouver media. Again, it's getting to him, and maybe he wants to be closer to Sweden. Maybe he's willing to waive his no trade clause to get traded for Jack Hughes. That's like the only way I see it happening.
Yeah, and I do feel like even if Elias Pettersson has this crazy bounce back season where he's getting 90 to 100 points, and Jack Hughes, maybe steps back to a point per game mark and shows inconsistencies, like you're saying, just because it is Vancouver, I still feel like the Canucks would have to overpay to get Jack Hughes.
Okay,
and of course,
why though? But Elias Pettersson at his best, isn't he a way better player than Jack Hughes?
I don't know about that. I mean, even just digging into it today, Jack Hughes over the past 4 seasons, 1.19 points per game. That's 12th among all NHLers over the past 4 seasons. That's a pretty large sample size.
Who's like Jack Hughes? Like, who's the comparable for Jack Hughes? I guess it would be like Patrick Kane, but Patrick Kane kills it in the playoffs, right? Like he's like one of the most elite playoff performers of all time. If Jack Hughes isn't that elite playoff performer, they're going to talk about winning with a guy like that. Whereas Elias Pettersson at his best, and this is where I'd question if the Canucks would even make this trade, because at Elias's best, you're talking about, right, Pavel Datsyuk. I mean, you hope he's a defensive stalwart too. Maybe you talk about Barkov. I know that's crazy because Barkov's like arguably better than Connor McDavid when it's all said and done. I don't know. Don't you win with the defensive forward? Like, I don't know. There's going to be some cachet around him. No. Like, there's going to be, Pettersson versus Jack Hughes. At their best, who's the better player? Let us know in the comments. At their best. Their best.
Yeah, and let us know in the comments. Is there any world, and again, we're talking in 2026 at some point with the Pettersson bounce back with Hughes struggling, is there any world in which an Elias Pettersson for Jack Hughes trade can make sense? Go off, connect with us in the comments here on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts and on social media. Coming up on the other side, let's time for me to put some cake on my face, man. Unbelievable. I was ripping the Evander Kane trade, and I'm coming around, and I'll tell you why coming up next here on Locked On Canucks. All right, before we get back to the program, let's shout out our friends over at FanDuel. Man, oh man, week 1 of the NFL in the books. I said yesterday I was not going to touch that Vikings-Bears game, and for good reason. I mean, that was a pretty surprising game from start to finish. I pretty much turned it off. What's up?
Can we talk about this? Because I just want to talk ish about the Chicago Bears. Like, isn't Caleb Williams just like Justin Fields? I mean, they're like 83 overall, but they're like the same player.
Yeah, I did think about that yesterday too, watching Caleb Williams have another, fairly dreadful performance, I would call it, against the Minnesota Vikings. Again, there's some games I just won't touch them betting. That one was one of those games, not trusting either quarterback. But heading into week 2, there'll be even more bets for you to place, whether it's in-game, whether it's props. Speaking of props, I want to look at the Stanley Cup odds here. The New Jersey Devils on FanDuel, plus 2,000 to win the Stanley Cup. The Vancouver Canucks, though, pretty far down the list with plus 7,000 odds to win the Stanley Cup. Teams like the Ottawa Senators, the Utah Mammoth, and the Montreal Canadiens, all with better odds than the Vancouver Canucks. Interesting. Right now, whatever bet you're placing, make sure you do it on FanDuel. New customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. So, are you ready to play? Download the FanDuel app by visiting FanDuel.com to get started. If you have any problems with gambling, we got the numbers for the hotline in our description. And again, if you're ready to go visit FanDuel.com and place your first $5 bet.
People, we back doing this, and that's talking about your Vancouver Canucks, Kyle Bowen, and the second best dad in the world. How you doing, full-time reporter? Look at your office, man, your bedroom. Trevor, again, so please do me a favor, man. Never say you work hard in your life anymore. For the rest of the year, I don't want you to say for the next 10 months, I don't want you to say, I just worked my ass off. I'm so tired from work. Please, let's not lie to the people here.
Yeah, have I ever said that live on this program, even when I was at my day job?
You know what, Trevor? You're an honest guy. There's some people out there, they have these media jobs and they're like, oh my God, work's crazy. I have to go out for a beer with a potential, I have to write an article sipping an IPA. And it's like, yeah, I couldn't find the definition of this. Trevor, you're living the dream, man. And we're living the dream too because of you and you and you and you. Speaking of which, let's get to some comments. Okay, we got this comment from Matt Folger, okay? He's talking about, Elias Pettersson and Jack Hughes. First, I'll start off with this one, okay? Matt's saying at their best, they're in the same tier. Okay, so I could, maybe like 2 tiers below McDavid, Draisaitl, McKinnon, Cale Makar, Quinn Hughes. Maybe, there's at one point again, Elias Pettersson at his best. Like he was up there, like maybe with Austin Matthews. Okay, I know that's a lot of West Coast bias. It is what it is. Matt Folger also saying, 13 pounds of additional alien muscle to Elias Pettersson could be a game changer. And this is why I want to apologize again, man. Trevor, how do I say this to you, man? The right way. You got to be a better friend, man. That's what I meant to say. You got to be a better friend. You got to learn to keep me accountable. I think you just pat me in the back. You're just like, oh, don't worry, you're just having a bad day. You should have kicked me out of yesterday's program, man. For caring more about Elias Pettersson's body language than his body change. Straight up, 13 pounds. That's a lot. That's not a little bit.
Yeah, I feel like I told the line pretty good yesterday. What can I say, man? I'm attracted to the sound of your voice. That's why I didn't want to boot you off the show. But I think I told you at the time that you're overthinking it, man. Quinn Hughes never smiles. Elias Pettersson doesn't have to smile. Just go play some goddamn hockey. Speaking of a guy who didn't play any hockey, at least during the regular season last year, Evander Kane. At the time, and to be honest, I'm still a little iffy on this trade. I don't know if I love the Evander Kane for Pius Suter swap. Now we got no Dakota Joshua either. But lo and behold, Evander Kane is here. He had some moments during the Stanley Cup playoffs last year. What?
You're hurting me. You're hurting my feelings, bro. Like, you just said we traded Evander Kane for Pius Suter. And I never put 1 and 2 together. And you said Dakota Joshua, Pius Suter for Evander Kane. Yo, you scaring me, bro. Okay. You know what? Continue, man.
Yeah, but regardless, Evander Kane is here in Vancouver now. And there are some things to like in terms of Evander Kane's potential fit in Vancouver, even if I don't necessarily agree with the trade itself. And God, we said it before, it was one of the most divisive trades in Canucks history. Just looking at our commenters, connecting with the listeners at the time, I feel like there's a pretty 50-50 split in terms of people who wanted Kane on this team and people who thought it was a bad trade. And there can be a line between the two. But in terms of Evander Kane in Vancouver, one of the things I do like, and we talked about it, this week, every dayers know, the potential fit with Elias Pettersson. Now, one thing I don't think we mentioned is Kane's success with other top centers in the NHL. And I'm not really going to include Connor McDavid because that guy's in a category of it on his own. Ironically, Kane did not have a lot of success with Leon Draisaitl, but a couple players he did have good success with were Ryan Nugent-Hopkins and, going back to his San Jose days, Joe Pavelski. And I think you have 2 centers there. I mean, Nugent-Hopkins on a lesser tier than Pavelski. 2 centers who are playmakers first and are defensively responsible centers. And guys that can skate with a bit of speed as well. Does that not sound like Elias Pettersson to you? And again, that's the kind of prototype where Kane has put up his best numbers over the past 5-6 seasons in the NHL. A defensively responsible top center who can make plays with the puck on his stick, right? And Elias Pettersson, if he comes back to form, is that guy. And again, I've said it before, I'll say it again, got to be an honest guy here. I prefer a guy like Nils Höglander on that line. He's got to earn the spot. But I'm not against Evander Kane playing with Elias Pettersson. And there's a chance that, Kane with his swagger and his energy can bring more out of Elias Pettersson. So I think that's 2 reasons to really like Evander Kane there, Kyle.
Yeah, it's hard for me to give a 35-year-old Evander Kane coming off whatever injury he had. It took him out for a year. Was it tendonitis too? Was it that? Did he have tendonitis surgery? Is that what he had? Is that why he was out
Evander
for a year?
Kane?
Yeah.
It was abdominal surgery, but he did have arthroscopic knee surgery as well.
Okay, arthroscopic tendonitis. It's hard for me to just give him and be super, super optimistic about him being the right guy for Elias Pettersson. Like, you talked about Brock Besser yesterday. It's like, okay, can we finally make that work again? I'd like that. We talk. I keep talking about Keeper Sherwood. You keep talking about Niels Höglander. Who knows what Jonathan Lecker-Mack is going to do this year? I don't know. Like, we're really going to rely on a 35-year-old to be the top line winger to save Elias Pettersson's career and be the guy that gives him the utmost chemistry. No, it's hard. It's hard for me to think like that. But I'll say, Trevor, he is a UFA, and I've said it many times, and he said it many times, or he's shown us many times. Evander Kane loves money more than you and me. And you and you and you and you. No, I'm not even joking. Like, it is what it is. He could come and beat me up for saying that, but the proof is in the pudding, right? I've seen the articles and I've seen the photo. Okay, this guy loves money, and that's cool. Hey, Trevor, he loves money so much that he's made 100 million times more money than we have. So I wish I love money like Evander Kane loved money, and I feel like he's going to be motivated. And if he does get that opportunity to play with Elias, knowing that it's his last opportunity to sign a big deal, dude, that might be enough motivation for him to do so. What I mean by do so is like, I'm not going to say a career, but try to get to 30 goals. Like, try to push the odds. Be a 36-year-old with 30 goals, but has all that playoff experience and, is still in shape and still defends his teammates. And on that note, Trevor, I don't know. Is there a world where like Evander Kane is intimidating even at the age of 36, so much so that like, I don't know, players are second guessing, taking liberties on Elias Pettersson? Maybe. And that's why I'm like, okay, maybe there is like a match made in heaven there.
Yeah, well, a couple of things there, Kyle. First and foremost, you keep making Evander Kane older. You said 35, then you said 36. He did just turn 34. Okay, let's not age the guy too much here. Okay.
I'm balding a lot, Trevor. So you know how I'm balding? Like, I feel like everyone's getting older around me. My bad.
Yeah, that's all right. And I think the other thing you mentioned, and again, those are the kind of the 3 points that, we're talking about here, right? The potential fit with Pettersson, the fact that he's a UFA, and he brings some swagger to a team that looked like they kind of needed more swagger in their lineup last year. But you mentioned Evander Kane. You're not in love with the idea of him potentially going there to rescue Elias Pettersson. I'm not even saying that's the case. I'm saying there could be a fit there. And of course, I think he would be more of a benefactor to Pettersson just bouncing back himself. If we're expecting Evander Kane to go save Elias Pettersson, we're already screwed because that's not happening.
Trevor, you watched sports before. Like, you never, like, okay, you know how like there's, how do I say this politely? And again, I don't want you asking this question because I care about your family. I don't want you to get RKO'd by Elias Pettersson, but like who, like, Elias Pettersson, like, does he have any best friends on this team? Like, I don't know. Who knows? Who knows what's going on? I don't know what's going on. This guy's riding a scooter alone before Game 7. All I'm saying is, it would be ironic if Evander Kane was the guy to, not just because of what he can do on the ice, but because like Kane has the swagger. Kane's a rock star. Kane, like, he has that personality. Elias Pettersson no longer has a personality. It wasn't that long ago. He's taking the best photos on Instagram and hanging out with Baby No Money and all. I don't know what happened. Yo, Chaos Club, what happened to Elias Pettersson? Your whole organization got, what happened to Elias Pettersson? Everyone went down, Elias Pettersson included. No longer Chaos Club. I'm not taking shots. I'm just saying, what happened? What happened? But maybe Evander Kane like brings something out of him. Like, it'd be very storybook. Like, when I'm saying you watch sports before, Trevor, like, again, I'm not talking about the on the ice stuff, but like hometown guy, Evander Kane, all this swagger. He's the one that fixes Elias Pettersson. Confidence is a huge thing, and like maybe like he makes it more fun to come to the rink. I don't know, but I could see it happening. It'd be ironic, and there's a lot of irony in sports.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously, there's all the red flags with Kane from earlier in his career, not getting along with teammates and blah blah blah. But let's assume this is perhaps an older and more mature Kane. He is, the oldest guy in that locker room aside from Tyler Myers, right? So,
Yeah.
And again, he brings that swagger to the ice, man. And you have guys like that on your team, you can have more success, right? Because confidence is a huge thing. Kyle, you've said it before. Every dayers know here on Locked On Canucks. If this team starts playing like a family and not just a group of individuals, they can have some success, man. Like, there's a recipe for this team to be scary next season. All right, let's
Yeah.
wrap up on the other side. Few of your comments that we want to get to, and also let's touch on maybe some prospects who we're intrigued to see this upcoming weekend at the very least, and potentially guys that could crack the Canucks to start the season. You're listening to Locked On Canucks.
People, we back doing this, and that's talking about your Vancouver Canucks. One left to Trevor, one left to the Don't Doze Art Lab for giving us the space to give you that West Coast bias, and one left to you and you and you and you. Speaking of which, let's get to some more comments. Man, oh man. Dan Jardine saying Evander Kane could give Pettersson the space to do his thing. And I do want to touch on that just a bit. Like, you know how I talked about the intimidation, and maybe Evander Kane is like has that about him in a younger league too. Like maybe players will like be a bit lighter on Pettersson if Evander Kane's around him. And I know we tried putting Pettersson with DeBrus last year, and we saw the size, and we're like, oh, Bertuzzi and Naslund, oh, this could be a thing, dude. DeBrus doesn't have a mean bone in his body before April. Guy's playing Pokemon. Like he's a nerd. No, that's okay though. I've seen him in April against Toronto. He turns into a beast. That's when he turns into a power forward. But this guy's not a power forward. He's not that intimidating guy where Evander Kane is. And maybe that allows him to have more space. Straight up. And look at Brandon. Okay, Brandon's saying Kane is a rock star. The chance will start early. Kane, UFA season, hometown guy, getting an opportunity on the top line. Like again, a guy that loves the money, but he likes the attention too. Like, this, I already know. Game 1 against Calgary, or whenever we play the Oilers, or I think we play the Rangers in November or something. Double check me on that. Dude, when this guy drops the gloves with JT Miller and he hears the crowd, giving him the cosign, he might ride that for the rest of the season. And again, not only give Elias Pettersson the space he needs on the ice, but just give him like a rock star to be with them, like an elite wing. It would be something. It would be something. There's a small chance that Evander Kane, I don't want to say has a career year, but, is a 30-goal scorer this season for your Vancouver Canucks.
Yeah, it's an outside chance, but it's still a chance. And, again, let's not discount the UFA situation. And it doesn't always work for guys. Like, for Brock Besser, it didn't really work out last season as he was about to become a UFA. But Evander Kane, is it safe to say there's like a $15 million swing here? Like, if he has a great season, could a team give him like a 3, even a 4-year deal? Like, we kind of saw that with a guy like Matt Duchene, different category of player, but with the cap going up, like maybe Kane's looking at like another 3-year, $5-ish million year contract. And if he sucks, he's probably looking at like a 1-year prove-it contract, like $1 million with some incentives. Like for a guy who loves money, there's a lot of money on the line for Evander Kane here.
Dude, you're 100% right. Like if he struggles this season, and then coming off of like having a surgery like 20 months ago that took him out for a whole regular season, you're right. He's getting a show me deal. He's getting a show me deal. And, just touching on that, me and you, we haven't like given him the complete benefit of the doubt because I think we were so emotional in June when the trade happened. And, now the season's starting. So now we're opening it up. As Dijon Mustard is saying, like he's living every East Van / Vancouver kid's dream. And like, that's going to get, again, Evander Kane loves the mojo. He can make his own mojo up. That's how he gets himself going. And this may be the easiest environment for him to have that mojo. Now, straight up, Evander, if you listen to this, you have a good game. Home ice, 2 goals, 1 assist. You beat the out of somebody. You're the man. I don't know what the chance would be. Go, Kane, go. I don't know what it would be, but don't go to Pierre's after, okay? Just go to bed, get your 8 hours of sleep. What? I'm not joking, bro. Unless you're going to Pierre's with the like 20 of the guys, like the whole team, not on some clicky stuff, then go ahead. But yeah, you know what I'm saying, Trevor? Actually, you know what? I want to talk about that. Evander Kane might be the 3rd best leader on this team by the time the season's over. If he can rally the boys and like get everyone to go out and be a family and go for the team dinners, and like I'm assuming he's like, again, like he's probably not going to pick up all the bills because he's got bills to pay more so than anyone, and he's got a contract year. But like if he can do that, because this team needs that, it's a hell of a trade.
A lot of pressure on Evander Kane here. I mean, again, for a guy, and this is just on the back of my mind, I can't get rid of this thought. For a guy who has had a history of being a locker room cancer, and I'm not saying he's that now. Now we're out here saying that maybe he can be a
Oh,
top
there
three
goes
leader and rally the boys. And look, he's got that outgoing, braggadocious personality. He wants to be a leader. I think you see that in him as well. So the potential is there. I just don't know if I'm going to believe it till I see it, Kyle.
I thought you had that West Coast bias, but I guess it's only for Surrey natives. I know you're high on Archie Bains. Maybe Archie Bains beats out Evander Kane for a roster spot.
I don't know about that, but maybe Steve Baines is in the top 6 and Evander Kane's not by December. How about that?
Okay, you know what? We're smoking that Surrey. You know what? Okay, prospect tournament coming up this weekend. I would say a lot of big names. I mean, DPD's going to play. Tom Olander's going to play. Jonathan Lecker-Mackey's going to play, and I don't know. Braden Coots is going to play, and you know this guy's going to have a big tournament. I mean, he already plays in Washington, Seattle, and whatnot, and he seems like he's just oozes hockey, oozes hockey, hockey nerd, next Sam Bennett. I wonder if like he's the MVP coming out of this tournament, and if we start talking on Monday that there's a chance of him like either beating out to Ratu at the start of the season, getting NHL experience, or you know what I'm saying? Because I read Thomas Grantz's article a couple weeks ago on The Athletic, and the last paragraph was like, I don't know, like there's a 1% chance, I'm paraphrasing, but there's a 1% chance that Braden Coots makes this team.
Yeah, and I think that's an interesting tidbit that we should maybe get into on another episode coming up to training camp, as we're running short on time here on Locked On Canucks. But that was the report was really that the Canucks are open to the idea of Braden Coots starting the season in the NHL if he earns his opportunity. And on the one hand, that's maybe a sad indictment of our center ice position, but on the other hand, that's kind of exciting, right? Like if this guy can come in, show some NHL moxie. It wouldn't be the first time we've seen something like that. Maybe from a guy who just got drafted. It's been a while since we've seen that. Like even guys like, Pettersson went back to Sweden, and Hughes and Besser in the NCAA. Like we haven't seen a guy like this come right into training camp and try to make an impact. But again, like there's a chance that he could do it, right? Like he works his tail off. And I think guys like this, Kyle, who end up in now they're calling it the prospect showcase. By the way, the Canucks are playing the Seattle Kraken's prospects on Saturday at 6 p.m. Pacific, on Sunday at 4 p.m. Pacific. I'm not sure if it's able to be viewed yet. We'll keep you posted on that. But again, guys who play in tournaments like this, they should have a leg up when it comes to actually going to training camp. Right? I think we saw that with Lecker-Mackey a couple seasons ago. We saw that with Atu Ratu, right? He came into training camp looking real good after being in this tournament. So I think that is a benefit to some of these players. And, Braden Coots, of all the guys on this list, and there's 10 guys I'm really interested in seeing here. Alexei Medvedev, the second round pick. I'm really curious to see him play as well. But again, I think, a guy like Braden Coots, he's probably the guy you have your eye on first and foremost, even though there's like Tom Melander and Elias Pettersson. Again, we'll see more of those guys in training camp. But for me, it's like, I want to see what Braden Coots looks like out there.
It's Elias Pettersson. Is it not Elias?
Did I say Elias? Yeah, it's Elias Pettersson. Yeah.
Ever you're a big J journal, but you got work to do, buddy. Stay humble. You know what you should do today? When you take your kids for a walk around the block, just say Elias. Get your ish together, bro. Okay, you got a family, you got a new job. Yeah, prospect tournament, there's not much to say. The Canucks are back. I think that's all you got to say. The Canucks are back. It's cool. There's going to be some highlights. And, yeah, I'm excited to see Braden Coots playing, Tom Melander playing, whatnot. And, next season's a real deal. Trevor, last question. Like, how are you gearing up for Penticton, man? Like, do you need somebody to drive you up there? Like, are you going to be on your laptop the whole time while you drive? Because this is like your first training camp, bro. Like, this is a big deal for you, man. Like, how do you prep for this?
I think it's an early morning Thursday, right? So doors open at 9 a.m. for the first day of training camp. I plan on, leaving here at probably 4 a.m., man, making sure I'm up there by 9 and straight to work, man. So
how come you haven't invited me, man? How come you haven't invited me I'll drive you up there. I'll sleep on the couch in the hotel room, man. Like, yo, come on, man. Yo.
Well, I know your issue is you stay up till 4 a.m., so I wasn't sure if you'd be able to swing it. But hey, if you can make it, man, like, come on, Locked On from Penticton, man. Let's do it.
You can hide me in your laptop case. Or your laptop bag.
I might not be able to get you in for free, but you can pay the $62 for the full weekend in Penticton if you like.
Hey, man, it is.
But you can share my motel, man. That's no problem. Motel's on me.
Wow, that could be. Let us know in the comments. Should I sneak into training camp and jeopardize Trevor's career before it even starts? Okay, my name's Kyle Bowden. That guy's Trevor Beggs. Hit the like button. Share the show with with your friends, your family, your other Canucks fans around you. Hit the links in the bio. Join the Discord. We'll bring the Substack back very soon. We got to start writing. Actually, I don't even know. I might have to write the Substack alone because do you have a compete clause in your Daily Hive contract? Can you have a Substack?
Oh, I'm sure it's fine.
Yeah, ask your boss because we got to bring that back. And thanks for all your support. Can't wait for hockey to begin. And Puck Jack Hughes. Sorry for saying that, Quinn, but you're a Canuck and he isn't. He's the devil. He's the devil, man.
Hey, all I gotta say is Canucks baby. Canucks baby. Let's go. Jack Hughes to Vancouver. The dream, it ain't dead yet.
You're Locked On Canucks, your daily